Adam White is the Fellow of the Landscape Institute and leader in nature play landscape design. Andre Davies is Chartered Landscape Architect creating biodiverse therapeutic spaces. They work together. I'm getting off the stage. I'm going to leave it to you guys. Okay.
Thank you very much. Can everybody hear? Oh. There we are.
There we go.
Can everybody hear us? Oh, I can hear myself. It's quite echoey. Okay, we've got 15 minutes. We're going to really wake you up now. There's 3 parts to our presentation. The first part is the theory behind what Andre and I do as landscape architects. Then we're going to look at some case study projects, and then we're going to really focus on something which we're calling playful planting. So get your camera phones ready, because there's loads of these cheeky little QR codes that will link you directly to the page we're talking about. Somebody else's website or our website? Okay, yep, so we create playful, inclusive, biodiverse, sustainable gardens and landscapes. We're landscape architects. We design the spaces between buildings. And Andre and I met working for the environmental charity Groundwork. We were there for 10 years. And then in 2010, we left and set Davies White up. So for 20 years, Andre and I have co-designed every project together. We're the Lennon and McCartney of the landscape architectural world. So yeah, 20 years, we're really proud to be celebrating that. So our day job is designing playful, accessible landscapes and gardens. But we're so passionate about landscape that we've been involved in a number of other things along with just doing our drawing board job. I was the president of the Landscape Institute, the professional body for all landscape architects in the UK. And during my time, somebody said to me at the start, "What do you hope to achieve?" And I went, "I'm going to invite David Attenborough for breakfast." And I went, "Yeah, right, Adam." And I wrote to him and he wrote back. And over my 4 years involved as president, I became a pen pal with Sir David. And as I finished, we invited him to an awards and made him gave him a Lifetime Achievement Award and made him an honorary landscape architect, which was fantastic. And we got Ara involved and Julia Bradbury, and it really did raise the profile of landscape architecture, which was really important to us. And I launched a career campaign called Choose Landscape. And if you want to inspire the next generation to choose landscape, and that's what you all need to leave here and become superheroes, that little cheeky little QR code there takes you to the Choose Landscape website, and it will really open eyes to people choosing a career in a profession. And that was 2017, and it's now active in 27 countries around the world, and it is exactly what Sir David asked me to do when I first met him. Because if children don't grow up understanding nature, they won't appreciate it. And if they don't appreciate it, they won't protect it. And if they don't protect it, who will? Now, Sir David is 100 next year. So my campaign is on that bank holiday weekend when it's his birthday, that bank holiday Monday. We turn that into a Sir David Day where we get out with our family and friends and embrace nature. So I'm lobbying the government and the decision makers to try and make that an official day. Now, that's a little bit about me. Yeah, let's have a round of applause for that. Now, I'm not the only one that hangs around with famous people, so does Andre. So I'll let Andre just talk a little bit about how she knows Deborah Meaden.
Yeah, well, Deborah and I do have a couple of days at the beginning of the Chelsea Flower Show when we look at businesses, because it's such an important part of what we've been hearing today, the kind of financial side of it. And of course, Deborah Meaden is the best champion for that, making sure that the financial package for what we do really stacks up. So it's been a pleasure to, collaborate with her.
And what we've done along with Nigel Dunnett, some of you may know Nigel from Sheffield Uni, and Marion Boswell, who's a really famous landscape architect and garden designer, and of course Ara Anderson, we've created a charity called the Sustainable Landscape Foundation to inspire everybody within our industry to make a sustainable choice and understand what sustainability means, be that a supplier, a contractor, a designer, the custodians who take on the projects, gets us all talking together, measured, anecdotal, but really joined up as one voice. So that's the great charity we've set up. And again, there you go, another one for you. I told you there's a lot of them. Okay, the Pillars of Davies White. If you haven't seen these books, you need to get these on your bookshelves. So the first one, Last Child in the Woods by Richard Louv, talks about nature deficit disorder. It's not a medical condition, it probably should be. And then he followed it with vitamin N is for nature. And that's different ways that you can activate a family to get and spend more time outdoors. But my favourite one is a friend of mine, and that is Florence Williams. She wrote The Nature Fix. This is the book you need to get if you've not got it. She travelled the world and collected anecdotal data, scientific data, and it had a huge impact on what we do. It really backed up what Andre and I talk about. And this is a really great diagram. Get your computer phones out. My mum calls them computer phones. Daily, weekly, monthly, and annually. If you want to benefit from nature, you can't just go for your one hit every year. You've got to do a cheeky little thing every day. It can be looking at a plant on your windowsill, and then once a week you need to do something a bit more immersive, to the top one there, which is exploring a little bit of wilderness. Now, Flo, who wrote the book, talked about this for a number of years, and she was following it on with a book, and it was called Wilderness. And during the time when she was writing this book, she went through a really personal thing, and if you buy the book, you'll find out what it is. And she changed it from looking at how other people could benefit from time in immersive nature to herself as well. So it became a personal journey, and she called it Heartbreak. You can probably guess why. But it's a wonderful, wonderful book. And in there, she talks about two people. She talks about Florence Nightingale, who said patients recover twice as fast if they see nature or green spaces. She said post-operative patients will roll over like sunflowers turning to the light. So this is a massive thing. And this was 1896. It isn't a new thing. And then more recently, in 1979, Roger Ulrich, who was an architect, took the long drive home, and his wife said, "Why do you take so long driving home?" He went, "I don't know." And he had to think about it. And he said, "I feel better when I do the tree-lined route home." So he did loads of research into it, which is why if you're at the doctor's or the dentist, there's a picture of a leaf or a tree, because it brings your heart rate down, it calms you down. So that research has been done. And then this was 2007. So some of you may know this anecdote. This is the Junior Dictionary, so it only has a limited number of words they can fit in it. But they decided, because of the new words children were using, they were going to delete some. And this actually happened. These words were deleted from the children's dictionary, which was shocking, because they needed to make space for these words in 2007. This isn't made up. This really happened, which is bonkers. And thankfully, people reacted like you guys did. And two people that did was these two books that came out, and it was about capturing those words. And now they've done a U-turn, and now a lot of those words are back in. So Lost Words is a brilliant one. It's for slightly older children. And then The Keeper of Wild Words by Brooke is for younger children. Every school, education facility needs these. Okay, it's going to be interactive. You've got 15 seconds to look at this gorgeous piece of art by the Wildlife Trust. 15 seconds, okay? Now, what I'm going to ask you to do is count in your head, or out loud like I do, how many things you can see, living things you can spot in this picture, okay? So we do this exercise quite a lot, and that's about 15 seconds, okay? Now, what most people point out is they go, "Oh, there's badger, there's two, there's an owl, butterfly, oh, look there, there's a woodpecker," and they go through it. "Ah, can you see anything else? Oh, there's a little insect, there's a beetle." What they don't do is comment on the fungi, on the flowers, the trees, the plants, because they're plant blind. Society has become plant blind. Now, the reason for this, or the scientists think the reason is, if you look at a squirrel or a rabbit, you can see the nose, the mouth, and the ears. We can relate to it. They're hungry. They've got to reproduce, very similar to us. Whereas plants live on a different time scale. And so David talks about this quite a lot in Green Planet, his TV series about plants and trees. And he always talks about fungi, the one we always forget to talk about. And then this book, this is a fantastic book, which takes plant blindness and makes it accessible for young people. And it's about a little girl who goes around, and she can see all the plants, but her mum and dad can't see them. And I've got it here if anybody wants to come and have a look at it. It's a great book. Okay, I'm whizzing through, we've got a lot to get through. Okay, so this is a quick exercise. Words that describe play, they're not supposed to pop up, but don't worry about it. Normally people will say fun, adventure, excitement. They don't talk about competitiveness, danger, fear, and risk. They don't, but you need all those when you're designing playful landscapes. I might just point out this is not one of our projects. Even these springy chickens have had enough, and they're all going to jump in the water. And then this is another really useful slide. This goes back many years, looking at how far children were allowed to play outside their back door. And over the years, it's got smaller and smaller and smaller. This was 2008. So in 2008, it was the back garden. It's gone, the back garden. It's now the bedroom. Gone as the days when you're naughty and you get sent to your bedroom. That's the best place you want to get sent to. So let's bring it right up to modern day. This is a great publication. If you scan that, you can put your details in and we'll send you a copy of it. It's just come out and it's everything to play for. It's about giving children the right to roam and the freedom to play. It's got these wonderful guidelines in it. This is lobbying government to put children first, which there is no strategy or policy in place at the moment. Hasn't been for a number of years, which is incredibly disappointing. Now, it's always good with before photographs to put them in grayscale because they always look a bit sadder. because then when you do that, they look much better. This is what Andre and I inherit, these projects. This is what we deliver when we work on them. Let me show you another one. That's the before, that's the after, the same space. And what that project did was increase biodiversity value, play value, property value went up. Cabe did a bit of a paper on it, and it improved massively. So this is the other one, Design for Play again. If you have a look at that, at the end, our website's there. You can contact us through that. This is really useful if you're involved in setting a brief for any green space or open space that you want families to connect to. And then these two supporting documents are really good. The last one's the best because we wrote it. Okay. So here's a great thing you can do. You can put ground level trampolines in, or you can put living willow pods, air conditioning units that you can climb inside. Children that have panic attacks, or if they suffer from conditions such as autism, they may well do, they can climb inside these little green bubbles and the heart rate comes down. They're not expensive and they can go in anywhere. And then this is what we do to foster ownership of our project, is hands-on engagement, old school. But recently we've embraced digital technology, but the children make the VR goggle, as you can see there. And then they can fly through the space that they've helped us design. It's a wonderful thing to do. We've just worked with the Imperial War Museum, a project at Duxford, and that's exactly what we did with them there. And then we've done this. We were very creative. We created a cartoon. This is Hampton, the autistic butterfly. And again, if you use the QR code, you can watch the whole cartoon. It's about engaging young people and getting them involved in designing with nature. They might not be interested in plants and trees, but they might enjoy designing, graphics, gaming. This is how you can get them involved. So there's lots of different ways to get them involved in the process, not just give them a space at the end. Okay, I'm going to take a drink now, and I'm going to let Andre talk through something. I'd normally be dancing at this point. We're going to look at some of our projects where those theories have been implemented.
Thank you, Adam. Yes, I can't speak quite as fast as Adam does, but yeah, we're going to show you a few of our projects and the process we go through to get to those end results. You know, when you see a before and an after, it makes it look easy. It's just started like that and it's ended up like this. But we do a lot of engagement with our end users because we are very particular about making sure our projects are specific to the schools or the communities that we are working with. And this is a school in Wimbledon we worked with. So we got the children to be designers. So we asked them, how do they use their outdoor space? And we got them to draw on plans and explain where they arrived, where they left, and how they felt, their kind of emotional connection to the outdoor space during the day. And then we took that information and started to develop a scheme. We went back to them halfway through and said, is this what you had in mind? You know, how can we improve it? And one of the students had been to the Eden Project in Cornwall and said, oh, can't we have the Eden Project in our playground? And we were like, well, maybe we can. So we put this geodesic dome in for them to grow plants in. So there were lots of plants that were edible. We're always thinking about the senses when we design outside. And how important it is that children feel a connection to actual plants and nature. Because when we talk about nature, we're really talking about plants and living plant communities. Now this is the school actually that Claire was just talking about a moment ago, and we have been wrapping the whole of the new building in plants and planting. We're making this microforest that will wrap the building to do all of the things that we've been talking about today. But also when we're working with educational settings, it's so important that we are offering teachers some help with delivering the curriculum, because teachers are some of the busiest people. Their days are crammed with agendas that they have to fill, boxes they've got to tick, standards they've got to meet. So if you're talking to them about adding green space and nature in the playground, it's got to help them deliver their curriculum. So we work closely with the teachers to make sure we're offering spaces where teaching can take place outside, that it can directly link with the curriculum, and that it can add beauty. Now that's not something we talk about a lot in schools, but I'm really passionate that all of those things that can't be measured, things that make us feel emotionally good and are beautiful, are part of our everyday life, and that's as important for children as it is for the rest of us.
Hey, now talking of beautiful.
What, you?
You keep that.
Carry on.
Don't edit that bit out. Don't edit that bit out. We're now just going to show you one of our famous projects that we got involved in doing. Andre and I did a show garden in 2007 at Hampton Court, where it got gold and People's Choice. And it was exhausting, and we said, we're never doing a show garden again. That's it, 2007. 10 years later, different reasons, and we were invited back to do a garden for children with autism. And we had all these ideas, so we went and did a garden in 2007. That got gold, best in show, and People's Choice. No one ever gets the treble because the judges choose something very different normally from what the people. And then we said, never again, that's us done. When Monty asked us on telly, we said, never again, didn't we? And then we got a phone call from Her Royal Highness and said, I saw you on telly, would you like to come and have a chat? Got an idea for a garden at Chelsea. And we were like, no, we're not, no. Anyway, she's very persuasive. And we ended up creating, it was a brilliant idea, the Back to Nature garden at Chelsea and at Hampton Court, and a permanent one at Wisley, and one for the NHS down in Dawlish. So it was a great project to work on this, wasn't it, Andre?
Absolutely. And again, for her, it was about early years. How do you get children under 5 really engaged with nature and really helping them to thrive in their learning communities? This was some of the artwork. We worked with an architectural illustrator to bring all of our ideas to life, and they were shared across the RHS, across the royal household, to make sure we were delivering something that she wanted to endorse and to talk about. And as you can see, she took her family and children to the garden. These photographs are all from the garden at the Chelsea Flower Show.
You would never know you're really at Chelsea. It was such an immersive woodland that you could go in it, and there were 1,000 people an hour walking through this garden that you would take maybe 3 or 4 minutes to walk through. And we said, wouldn't it have been, 'cause it's quite stressful if you've ever been to Chelsea, it's so busy, if we could have taken heart rate monitors or something, because I guarantee when people walked into that little green bubble that there's nothing there before it starts, they would have felt incredibly immersed. And it got global press. It was phenomenal, really. My friends in other countries said, you and Andre have just been on telly. You're in Hello and OK magazine. Well, I say we were in it. You will notice they photoshopped me out. Look at that. Unbelievable. They said, we're using this picture. I said, it's not the greatest of me, but I'll go with it. So there you go. And what was funny at Chelsea, when there were loads of people downstairs, we were in our tree house with Catherine designing the Hampton Garden. Everybody was walking around and had no idea that she was up there. And then this was quite a special moment, is that Her Majesty came along. She said it's the tidiest woodland she's ever seen. And we said, well, you were coming. And she'd asked for carrot and beetroot to go in the garden. And we had to point out, it was a woodland garden. Can we have wild garlic? No, carrot and beetroot, they're my 2 favourites. So Andre had to design in this little woodland glade to get carrot and beetroot in. But yeah, she was lovely and really, really interested in it. Actually, William wanted forget-me-nots because that was Princess Diana's favourites. George wanted a dragon in it or a dinosaur. So they all got involved. And rarely do we work with lighting designers, but on this one, because it was Chelsea, we got to, and it was really nice to bring the garden to life at night. And as I say, it then went to Hampton and then several projects afterwards. After that, we went right back to reality. Crappy playground. This is in Peterborough. And then this is one of our designs to transform it. As you can see, this is what we do. Now, you've seen a couple of other projects tonight. I just want to quickly today show you. These are really worth looking at as well. This is South Gardens, Elephant Park, by Churchman's and Thornhill and Finch, as they're now known. It's a housing development with a beautiful, playful communal garden. And then this one that popped up a bit earlier, this is Kidbrook Village. This is by HTA Landscape Architects. So it's really great to see that there is a shift in designing playgrounds. It isn't the KFC, kit, fence, carpet and springy chickens that we can't be doing with. And then this is our projects at Imperial War Museum, Duxford. This is, we managed to get some plants into this because it was really tricky because it's an active airfield. I'm going to whiz through this because I've just been told there's 2 minutes left. So this you can see on our website. This is the Blossom Garden over in the Olympic Park. This is the COVID Memorial Garden that we designed, and it's got a fantastic roly-poly hill. But I'm just going to finish off now, allow Andre to take over again. We're going to talk through some playful planting, because if you want them for your own garden, your community garden, there's some great ideas here that are safe, playful, and good fun.
Yeah, I think people are always asking us what are our kind of top 10 tips for plants, what plants could we use, and what are they, what plants are good and safe to use in settings for children. And we find that these are some of the plants that we use over and over again. And we've selected them for very particular reasons. So for example, the stachys you can see there, it's got these really soft, furry leaves, and they're really good if we use them in a nursery setting with toddlers, and you might have them all sitting in a circle, and you could put a leaf in each of their hands, and if you've got a story about texture or lambs, and they can feel the texture of this leaf at the same time, it makes that connection, that storytelling connection between plants, between the reality of the plants and their place. So we use them for texture, for doing leaf rubbings, perhaps leaves that are different shapes that you can draw around. Scent, of course, is a really important part of our planting palette, but we're always thinking about craft as well. What can you do with these plants? So we do a lot of pressing of leaves. Can you use them, model them? This is an epimedium where you can manipulate the leaves and make this little catamaran you can float in water. So we're always thinking about what connection will that child make with that plant, and how can it be an important part of their environment. Not just kind of any plants and green fuzz. We really like to be specific about what we choose and why. So that often means plants that are quite resilient because children walk on them. And we don't say don't pick them, because that's an important part of understanding what plants are like, what they feel like, what the texture's like in your hands, whether it's rough or smooth, and what they smell like when you crush the leaves. That's a quick sort of whistle-stop tour through the kind of plants that we use and why.
And just to finish off, this is a great tree. This is a weeping beech, and you can make a den inside. It's wonderful. They're the willow pods that we talked about. That's its lockdown haircut when no one touched it. And then this one, this is 10 years old. This is in Wokingham, a great one. Bit of den building. You won't get me off stage now. And then there's Andre when she had longer hair. And there's one of my favourites, Lady's Mantle. This is Alchemilla mollis. Dry the leaves, crush them up. You can make tea out of it. Wonderful. And now my favourite, this is our favourite, Pelargonium cola bottle. Guess what it smells of when you rub it? Yeah, you're right, lilt. No, Coca-Cola. Wild strawberries. We're just going to go through. There's loads. Candy floss, pseudophyllum. If you drop us an email, we can send you a link, and we'll give you this list of playful plants, which you might find really useful. And when we connect children to them, we get them to think about mint, for example, or lemon, or, when you go to the rugby or the football and you smell that wintergreen or the sportsman's rub, that's from wintergreen. It's the plant which the native Red Indians used to rub on their back to carry heavy loads. And that is, ignore them, that's our latest project with the Imperial War Museum. Hand drawing, we're very analogue. This is a wonderful project, Belsize Tube Station, where in the empty little paying offices are now greenhouses. How great's that, these little greenhouses? And we just want to finish with this one to give you this. These are the 6 core types of play. And this is to stop you running down the path of designing the space, is to just think about what the play objectives are first. That will then inform what the design might look like. And then we've applied that in partnership with a great organisation we've been working with called Community Playthings. And that's this project for nursery and early years. So again, use the barcode or take a photograph, and do stay in touch with us, and we'll share anything we've got and any more information that you might want to know. Here's a gorgeous picture of us in Nigel Dunnett's garden last year. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.